Brian from Gemini Syndrome, and you're watching The Concert Cruiser.
What's up, everyone? This is Justin Sprower here, The Concert Cruiser, and I'm chilling out back here at Rabbit's Theater with Brian from Gemini Syndrome. What's going on, man?
Hello.
I actually saw these guys with Device not too long ago, and I just knew I had to get one of these guys on the show. So, one question I'd like to ask any band is, how did you come up with your band name?
I mean, that's something that I think came from the stars and divine inspiration. That's just something that we all can identify with, is duality and our good and our bad side, and it's just something we're born with. And Gemini Syndrome represents, the acknowledging that fact and then pushing through it and dealing with it from that moment forward.
Yeah, it was actually because one other thing I want to know is, where did the symbolism of your music come from? Because if you haven't noticed, if you check out their website, there's tons of all these logos and symbols, and I'd like to know, what do they mean and where do they come from?
Well, I think it's kind of like almost the other way around. Like the symbolism has always been there,
Mm-hmm.
for everything. If you go back, when you dig through old hieroglyphs or ancient scripts, it's always decoding the language of scripture, technically, and so to give each song a title in, let's say, like English, is very limited.
Yeah.
And then so you give each song, it's like each song is already a personality. Each song is already a symbol, and then you just try to find, and then you just have to discover what symbol that song already was before it was ever even invented.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of where we go with it, and we didn't really go into it expecting to write something along the lines of a concept album, but it kind of turned into that. Whereas in the beginning there were a few pieces there, and before you know it, we were like filling in the pieces of this maze that all started and ended within itself. So when we look at it like when you get the song 12 on the album,
Yeah.
it just goes right back into song 1, and it's just it completes a circle, and you can start at 3 and end at 2. You can start at 9, end at 8, and you're always going to be right.
Okay, so one other thing that I'd like to ask, because when I saw you guys with Device, you guys had this amazing lighting setup, and it's pretty innovative for such a new band, and I did get some photos of it, but essentially it's like a wooden box with a crate over it that you shine a light through it. How'd you guys come up with all these different lighting effects? Because I firmly believe that theatrics help a band stand out. You're always going to see musicians on stage playing songs with their instruments, but theatrics will get you noticed.
I mean, that's something, when we came out the gate with full production, we planned that. That was just a part of the puzzle in addition to the songs, just as much as, a set list is, we planned everything to have lights and to create not only sonic but like visual. So it was the entire idea from the beginning was atmospheric, as far as combining all the senses. We had from the very get-go, our very first show, we had brought in all of our own lights, and we had a program to go along with the music from the very beginning, and that's we always came at it with that that mindset from the very beginning, that was going to be a part of it.
What are some of the more crazy tour stories that's happened to you guys since you've been on the road?
I mean, the thing about, we've been touring so hard that it's literally just been show after show after show after show. There's barely time to have any crazy moments. The little moments of crazy we have are probably not the ones that people would expect,
Well, tell them what happened tonight, actually. Because
yeah, like tonight tonight might as well be the craziest shit that happened. We just came back from Canada.
Yeah.
We did 10 days in Canada, and it's freezing fucking cold there.
Been there numerous times.
And we've all kind of been a little under the weather, and Aaron, has pushed through the whole time, and it finally got the best of him, and he was in the hospital today and had to go to ER and has some tracheal bronchitis along with vocal cord infection.
Mm-hmm.
And we found that out about an hour and a half before we were supposed to go on stage, and then we were like, okay, well maybe he'll get his medicine and they'll send him on his way and he'll be here. And then half hour before we're supposed to go on stage, it's like, well, that he's still trying to fill his prescription, and it's this whole ordeal. And so we had to talk with the production side of the show, and we thought that it would be best to just let the fans know what happened, and say, Aaron's sick, he wishes he could be here, but if you guys can scream as loud as you can, let him hear you wherever he is. And we did the show, with Aaron's spirit there, and Mike filled in a little, here and there where he wanted to, and the show came off really good. I think it in a weird way it came off like better, because the option of canceling and not only letting go of getting some new people to be exposed to us, but also letting down the people that came all the way here for us.
Yeah.
Not even we had one of our super awesome street team kids came all I think drove 8 hours from Canada today for the show.
Oh, wow.
We had them hanging out, side stage with us, and it's just like, what are we gonna do? Are we just gonna say fuck it, we quit? Because it's like if I got hurt, day of a show, I would expect, or not expect, but I would hope that maybe they would go up there and do some acoustic stuff without a guitar. That's just the one thing you don't ever want to lose as your singer. And it ended up, being okay. And Aaron showed up just about an hour ago, and he's a little, worse for the wear, but he's talking and he's on medication, and hopefully we'll, be back in full force in just a couple of days. We got some really important shows coming up, and we don't want to miss them, and we're gonna just do a little Indian rain dance and hope it all works out in the end.
So with your lighting effects and the symbolism, how did you actually come about discovering what your sound was?
The sound just what it was. We are 5 very distinct personalities and musical flavors, and it's always been an amalgam of all of our different elements that kind of created this from the very beginning. That's something that's the one thing that we don't ever have to try to do. That's the one thing that actually does come naturally, and I'm not going to say easy, but it comes naturally to us to just do what we do.
Okay, one question I always like to end on is, who's the one band that you have to see or tour with before you die?
Wow. Let me see that. God, there's so many. There's so many, man. To narrow it down to one.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll let it be a tour setting. You get to pick 3 bands that you would be on tour with.
Dream tour.
Okay.
All right, here we go. What I would like. Now I have just like 10 that I have to narrow down. Let's look at. This is. I'm not speaking for the band. I'll speak for me personally here. I just, for my own selfish wants and desires, would want to do, in no particular order, Deftones, Primus, and A Perfect Circle.
Ah, beautiful choices, beautiful choices. I was lucky enough to see Deftones back at Family Values. Yet to have seen Primus or A Perfect Circle, but however, Maynard James Keenan, their drummer, was part of my friend's band, Green Jello.
Danny Carey.
Yep.
Danny Carey, yeah.
Thank you for
one of the, if not the greatest drummer. I've met him before, and he's the most humble guy, and he has this rep amongst drummers of being the guy, like the guy, like the one, like fucking Neo from the Matrix, man. He's the dude, and he's a very humble guy, and it's really cool to see that you can just do what you do and do what you love and affect a lot of people and like make such a huge dent in something as huge as like music. People influence is huge.
All right, well, thank you for your time, man. I can't thank you enough. You guys have been checking out the Concert Cruiser. Be sure to take a look at Gemini Syndrome. You won't regret it. Take care.